If you follow the 7 tips in this video, you will never die again in Doom Eternal. Doesn't matter what difficulty you play on, easy or ultra nightmare. Let's get started. Tip number 1, don't try and save a failing plan. Too many times people make these all like well thought out plans in their heads, calculated, orchestrated. They're like, okay, I'm gonna go SSG the Dread Knight at 90 degrees, gonna turn around and then rocket the Mancubus and I'm gonna do a double jump backflip to the pinky and blood punch him. Well, what do? They go in the arena, they tickle the Dread Knight with a combat shotgun and they end up dying. Well, they're so dead set on their plan that instead of adapting to the situation, modifying it, what do? I'm gonna go SSG the Dread Knight, rocket the Mancubus, double jump backflip, blood punch the pinky. No, if your plan's not working, take that pride down, take that ego down and be like, all right, I was wrong, this didn't work out as well as I thought it would. So what can I do on the fly? How can I change and adapt to what's going on in front of me and fix that? Maybe I freeze the Dread Knight, move away, reposition, regain control of the battlefield, control is important, and move on from there. If you have a plan that's failing, do not be so hard-headed that you just stick with it and nothing else. Speaking which, that brings us to tip number 2, don't play tilted, as if the rage is going to help. It's just a downward spiral. You've been there, you're like, all right, I died, let's go, I gotta get revenge, I'm gonna try this again. And then you're like, died again. And then you're like, no, okay, I gotta get it this time. And then you're like, died again. And then it's just over and over. You get madder and madder and madder and worse. And your play does not benefit from that. All you do is get yourself angry. The best thing to do in that case is to take a step back. Be like, all right, not really playing really good right now. So I gotta figure out what the heck is going wrong. What can I fix? And if I'm too mad to play right now, too angry to die, then just take a step back and give it a break. Come back when I have a cool head. Because trust me, tilted does not help. And that goes for any game, by the way. Doom Eternal, Clash of Clans, I've seen it personally in either way. All right, number 3, calculated aggression. Well, what does that mean? Doom Eternal is a game where you have to be aggressive. I mean, you go to the enemies, you get your health, your armor, your ammo. That's literally the combat loop. But it has to be calculated. You can't just run in and be like, and expect it to work, because it's not going to. Doom wants you to play smart and figure out what you're supposed to do and when, and not just run in there guns blazing without a plan. You have to be aggressive, but you have to be calculated about it, and you have to realize that if your initial calculated aggression plan does not work, you need to be able to fix it on the fly. The top players are able to do that. They have lower margins of error than most other players, and they're able to adapt and fix a situation based on their resources, the enemies on the playing field, and everything else to consider. Every situation's going to be different, but learning to adapt to that with calculated aggression is really what matters. Brings me to my next point, respect the enemy. Now this actually ties into the next point. I want to see if you can figure out how. How many times you're just like, I'm playing great. I'm doing awesome. You're a Mancubus. You suck because I take out all your weak points and you die. And you just go in there and you're Rambo, if you catch that reference, and you're so good, and then, well, you don't respect the enemy, you get hit with a lot of damage, and then you die. Definitely been there before. I've been playing really well, and then I'm like, I'm on top of the world. I'm doing awesome in Doom Eternal right now. Nothing can stop me now. And, well, it usually does stop you because you just got cocky. The next point, don't get cocky. See, there's a difference between confidence and arrogance. We'll get to that here in a second. You need to be able to say like, hey, these enemies are tough. I know my skills, but I'm not going to be like, hey, I'm the best player in the world, because the game will teach you and shut you down pretty dang quick. So by not being cocky, you are confident, because there is a difference. You need to be confident and say, hey, I learned this. This is what I know how to do. I'm going to trust the abilities. But you can do that without being conceited or arrogant and saying like, oh, I'm the best player ever. Because there's always somebody out there better from us that we can learn from. And if you quit learning, you start dying. So it doesn't matter who you are. Take good advice, take it, apply it. If it's bad, leave it. If it's good, take it and learn from it. So do be confident in your skills. You have to learn how to trust the process. What does that mean? Well, you spend all this time playing the game, grinding, learning these combos and quick switching and movement, positioning, all that sort of thing. Well, you need to be able to be confident and say, hey, this arena is pretty scary coming up. There's a lot of bad stuff in here. But I know what I have learned, and I tell this to people who are trying Ultra Nightmare for the first time. You know, they go on Nightmare and they practice over and over and over again, and I tell them, hey, look, you've put in 300 hours of Nightmare practice. You know what to do, but you are letting the Ultra Nightmare, or whatever difficulty it might be, kind of cloud your judgment and your mind and your confidence. You are definitely not cocky at that point, but you need to be confident because you can still respect the enemy and push forward with what you know how to do. Remember, if you try to save that failing plan and be too cocky and not confident, you're going to die, and then you're going to get tilted, and then you're going to get mad because you're dying because you're being overly confident, and that calculated aggression might be too much aggression. All of this ties together in one gameplay loop. There's a psychological gameplay loop to Eternal, more than you might think. Because the other tip I have to bring up here to you, trust the process. Trust it. Like I said, you know what to do, but the mental game is strong, right? Take this. This is a super epic deep quote. All right, get ready for it. The strongest demons are not in the battlefield. They're in your head. You need to be able to remember and rely on those skills, right? So let's say you load up a level, whatever it might be. You start off. Here's how to apply all of this and piece it all together. You start off, you're playing really well. You're like, okay, got to keep myself grounded, got to stay level, because I know if I get too cocky and too arrogant, I'm going to end up dying. So you do the first arena really, really well, and you're ahead of the game. You say, okay, let's think about this. What's next? I know what's coming next. How do I deal with it? Okay, you go to it. You start to screw up. Your plan doesn't work. You say, okay, this is not really working as planned. What can I do in front of me here and now to be able to fix this situation? Is there fodder? Maybe I need to meat hook a flame to get some of my armor back. Do I need a chainsaw? Do I need to do a maker drone headshot? And doing things like equipping Chrono Strike mid-battle is very effective. I mean, I personally don't like to really use the rune anymore, but if you're using all your tools, there's no doubt that it works. So you find your situation, you fix that battle. Well, now you're coming out of that area low health. Okay, you can start to get a little tilted because you're messing up, but you don't want to do that. You want to be calculated in your aggression to be able to repair yourself and bring that confidence level back up. Confidence is a resource, as is your health, armor, and ammo, and you have to manage that well, and don't let the demons take it. And then don't let you get yourself in your head and take it from there. And you take all of these things and you ask the community in my Discord here. We help each other out there all the time. Links in the description below. You're like, hey guys, how can I beat this? Here's where I am. Here's where I'm stuck. What do you think about what I've done? Because you have to learn. A lot of people have made mistakes before you and I. Learn from their mistakes so you don't make the same one. Rather than you being a person that makes 100 mistakes in Doom Eternal, why don't you learn from the 20 mistakes that 5 people made and then apply those so you only make maybe an extra 10? Learn from the community, be involved, help each other out, and follow these tips and you'll never die again. Gently press that subscribe button and check out the next video here. I'm Allstin, see you later.